Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, good morning. Welcome to another market open stream. And there is the market bell, the best one in the industry. And today we got to talk about Coinbase and their crypto report, their crypto outlook for 2023, and how they snubbed Cardano, at least according to Charles Hoskinson, and he is pissed. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what's going on in U.S. markets and what's going on with Bitcoin. So, welcome. So, you know what? The market bell just rung. So today's looking like a green day. Finally. Now, at least right now, market bell open or market open. Plus 310, NASDAQ plus 59. Let's see if it could hold. It's been down for quite a long time. But we did get a boost. We got a boost from Nike, of all companies, not the big tech companies. But of course, you guys know Nike. They reported really good earnings. Okay, so that means retailers has a chance, right? Because everyone was expecting everything to crash and we're going to go into deep recession. Well, according to Nike, that's not the case. Nike actually beat the bottom line, top line by quite a lot. Their earnings came at 85 cents per share versus 64 cents, and revenue $13.3 billion versus $12.5 billion. Okay, and the reason for their surge is because supply chain issues are starting to dissipate. Their inventory came back up, and they started selling a whole bunch of shoes. Air Jordans to be exact, because I'm on the sneakers app like literally every day looking for new Air Jordans to buy. And they all get sold out still, so I know they're selling shoes left and right. So they're actually leading the way, making the market feel a little bit better today. Also, this is good. Mortgage refinancing going up slightly because mortgage rates have come down a little bit. Interesting. Even with the Fed fund rate going up, the prime rate going up, mortgage rates have not followed. It's starting to come back down a little bit. Well, it kind of makes sense because demand is weaker, but still. 6.3%, 6.34%, of course, is not really low compared to 2.25, 2.75, 3% from earlier this year, right? But far lower than the 7-point-something% that we also had recently. So these two things are good, relatively speaking, right? It shows that we're not heading into deep recession just yet. There are still a lot of buying, even with houses. What else is going on this morning? Well, Elon Musk did confirm yesterday that he will resign as CEO as soon as he finds someone foolish enough to take the job. After that, I'll just run the software and service thing. I just had a video yesterday about this because Tesla stock, as you guys know, has been tanking. Elon and Tesla holders has never seen something like this happen. This extended tanking of stock for Tesla, never ever, and it has a lot of people concerned, right? So most people think Elon's distracted. The bottom line is this, okay? He's already too busy running two major companies. Now he's adding a third, and it's just too much distraction, and that's why Tesla has so much FUD because of this, and that's why they're selling off. And plus, Elon himself has sold off a lot of shares too. So it's not just due to fear. He himself had to sell off $4 billion worth of stock at an absolute worst time ever. So I don't know if this is going to make Tesla stock go up. If he does find a CEO, I don't know who it's going to be. No one knows who it's going to be. But if he does find a CEO, and he steps down and he's just leading software and service team, if that's going to make Tesla pump. Because yesterday, this came out and Tesla still tanked. So I don't know if anything's going to help Tesla at this point. I guess we'll see. All right. Now, moving on to the main thing. Coinbase, like many others, coming out with their crypto outlook for 2023. And Coinbase said there's 3 things we should look forward to. 3 key themes. Number 1, flight to quality among institutional investors. Creative destruction that will eventually lead to new opportunities. And foundational reforms that usher in a new cycle. Okay, so that's the 3 basic things. But there's a lot more if you dig into it, right? But to sum up, flight to quality among institutional investors, obviously that means there's more due diligence. They're going to flock to things that they trust. For example, Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? And also to exchanges they trust, aka Coinbase, at least according to Coinbase, right? Creative destruction that will eventually lead to new opportunities. I actually don't know what that means. That sounds bad in a good way, right? That means the contagion is going to spread. There's going to be more destruction. And that's going to lead to new projects coming out. That's what it sounds like. And foundational reforms that usher in a new cycle, that's hinting at regulations. There will be more regulations and frameworks, and some argue that's good, some argue that's bad, right? So you break this down. Flight to quality, of course, that's talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, long-term holders, right? Look at that. Going to be nearing 85%, okay, going into 2023. That's a big number, 85% of all Bitcoins held by long-term holders. Think about that, okay? Reinforcing the ETH narrative. Coinbase, obviously a big ETH believer. Growth of decentralized future, meaning DeFi will grow, more interest in permission DeFi, okay? Total value locked in DeFi, right? Tokenization versus tokens. Okay, areas for creative destruction. That should not be how destruction is labeled, but lower liquidity spiral. Okay, talking about, how after FTX collapsed, right? There's going to be lower liquidity, minor capitulation, although we haven't really seen that yet because the hash rate barely went down. And most miners are still holding on to Bitcoin, but there could be minor capitulation. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. The hash rate barely went down. That means that miners are not capitulating. Exploring new use cases for NFTs. I don't know why that would be creative destruction. That should be a positive thing. All right, and then more urgency with regulatory clarity, lending practices, probably no more for a while. Path for institutional adoption, and likely path of prices in the next 12 months will stay range bound. So according to Coinbase, they think the next 12 months we're not going to see any movement. Basically go sideways. And then they think 30% chance it'll trend lower, 8% will trend higher, and 10% don't know. I would disagree with this. I do think the first 6 months of 2023 will probably stay range bound, but second half of 2023 we will definitely trend higher. We will definitely trend higher because we're getting closer and closer to the next halving event. Plus, the Fed is going to stop rate hikes altogether and may even pivot and cut. So I definitely think the second half of 2023 is going to be trending higher. But anyways, it looks like a normal report. I mean, I think that's decent, right? But there's one guy that does not like this, and that's Charles Hoskinson. He has a problem with this. Not a single mention of Cardano. Pretty low and pretty sad. I honestly expected better. I mean, what did Charles honestly expect? In the report, it basically only mentioned 2 projects, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Didn't mention any other projects. It's not like Coinbase mentioned Solana having a great year in 2023. They didn't mention Polygon having a great year in 2023. They just stuck with the basic Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I don't know why Charles is so mad at this. It's not like, Dogecoin or SHIB was mentioned in the report, right, being positive. They didn't mention anyone other than ETH and Bitcoin. So had they mentioned Cardano and soloed them out in the report, that would actually look pretty fishy if you ask me, because they didn't mention any other project. So yeah, Charles is pissed off at this for some reason. But what did happen in 2022 and what's going to happen in 2023? Well, 2022, we know that Cardano had the Vassal hard fork. Okay, that was a pretty big hard fork. Increases throughput, capacity, security, all that good stuff, right? We haven't seen an explosion in DeFi in Cardano just yet. But many speculated after Vassal hard fork we would see more. We haven't really seen that yet. But, 2023 could be a growth year for Cardano, right? Also, Cardano is working on something called CIP 1694, which is a proposal that lays the foundation for community governance and self-sustainability. This is something that not a whole lot of projects worry about, but Charles wants to make sure that Cardano becomes fully decentralized. So much so that even IOHK and Emergo and Cardano Foundation can't be making all the decisions, and it removes their own power from Cardano. And that's great. That's great, right? But still, some argue that you need to have a strong leader. You need to have someone that's taking reins and moving the project forward, right? And is this really the time for that? And we'll see. We will see. Maybe in the end, this is the right way to do it, to make everything decentralized. But right now, very little projects going this path, other than like a few smaller DAOs. All right, so that's what Charles is so angry about, being snubbed in this report. So we'll see. Alaska is going to add some new license. So if you're an exchange and you want to operate and sell to citizens in Alaska, you have to apply for this new license. I don't think this is a big. I don't know how many people live in Alaska. It can't be that. There can't be that many people. So I don't know why they need to add this, but I can understand. California doing this, that actually got pushed back. I know Texas already does this, New York does this, but if you were like a bigger city or bigger state, I should say, with many more people within, it makes sense. And for Alaska, it's like, okay, you got 10 more people that that can't get access to Coinbase, big whoop. All right. Veteran hedge fund Dan Moorhead, who controls hedge fund of $4.5 billion in assets, thinks that DeFi is going to really lead the way in the future. Okay, I just got done talking about decentralization of Cardano, but kind of the same premise, right? You have projects that are basically controlled by code. Okay. And what's great is it takes human subjectivity and emotions out of it. It's an interesting way to look at it. DeFi is definitely growing. I do think it's going to stay and evolve, right? It's still early. It's still very early, but I could definitely see how DeFi can expand way bigger than what it is now. So, yes. All right. What else is there? Speaking of DeFi, Uniswap is partnering up with MoonPay, so you could buy directly on Uniswap now, right? With your credit card and debit card, you don't need to go through a centralized exchange anymore to buy crypto. See, this is part of the evolution, right? As more and more people go straight to DeFi and DEXs like this, takes less power. Takes power away from the centralized exchanges. Pretty good. And then the last few things, because Binance.us won the auction for Voyager, right? Nansen decided to look at how much assets Voyager actually holds. This is excluding Bitcoin because they don't track Bitcoin for some reason with Voyager. But for everything else, there's about $580 million. So I'm assuming the Bitcoin is probably 400 something, making a total about 1 billion, right? So that is how much they have and how much they will be giving back. Supposedly in March. That's a lot. $1 billion worth of crypto that they will be giving back to the people. That's great. And speaking of Coinbase.com, I've been tracking their assets, and their assets have started to come up again. So this bleed, the supposed bank run, right, has definitely stopped, and it's actually reversing and climbing back up again. Just FYI for people that are wondering. And lastly, to give you guys some perspective, again, looking at Bitcoin, looking at where we are, right? We are at a multi-year resistance or support / trend line, right? And every single time Bitcoin hits it, it goes on a pretty tremendous run. So I wonder what the next run will look like. I can't wait for that to happen, right? All right. That is pretty much it for today. Let's do some Q&A. Bitcoin is at 816, 869. Looks like it wants to break 17 and continue forward. U.S. market is about the same. So today could be a good day. Oh, I'm curious what Tesla is at today, because they had a horrible day yesterday. Tesla's up barely. How could it be a new 52-week low when it goes up? That doesn't make sense. But all right, let's do some Q&A. Hard Magic and Dr. Seuss, 2 of the 5 people watching me on Twitch right now. Good morning. I need more people to watch me on Twitch. And then I got a few on Rumble too. Good morning. Kelby, in the current climate, is it better DCA into popularity tokens or utility tokens versus utility tokens to prepare? Well, the way you put that is not, I guess you could have a utility token that's also very popular. Okay, you got to realize that. But I think what you're trying to ask is, should you DCA into the bigger caps versus smaller caps? I think that's what you're trying to say. Bigger caps, aka more popular coins like Ethereum and BNB and I don't know, throw XRP in there, okay? Versus some of the smaller ones like DeFi projects. So I definitely think bigger caps is the way to go, plus Bitcoin, because they recover faster. They always do. But it's also good to be diversified, have some of the mid, small caps so that when we do recover, they're slower, but they kind of accelerate towards the end, especially during bull markets. They are the ones that go up the most, right? So I think still having a diversified portfolio is the way to go. D. Lee Crypto, how are you? I'm tired today. I'm tired. But hopefully you're doing well. Can you address the decision of Paxful removing E from Paxful's marketplace? I have no idea. I didn't read about that, so I don't know. Let's see here. Someone says Charles is really annoying. Someone else says Charles is super creepy. Someone else says Charles is too young. I think, in according to his look, yes. All right, right, tactics. Thank you. Let's see. Still scrolling here. DCA night, that's tonight. Let's see. Celsius amassed 30 potential bidders for its assets. I did see, you know, before it was rumored that Ripple was interested, and I'm sure like Binance is still in the running, and I don't know who else would be bidding for it. But there was a lot of news articles before, or companies that came out that said they were interested. I don't know who's going to be buying them. Does Tesla share price have much of bearing on the turnover and production and profit? Tesla stock has always been so out of whack. If you measure PE ratio, it's like way, way, way higher than any other car manufacturer, and even higher than tech companies. What is their PE ratio? Yeah, so even Tesla now, their PE ratio is at 42, 43, which is insane. But, you know, Tesla is not really a car company. It's more like a software company, right? And they do have many advantages. Their gross profit margin, like you could see here, close to 30%. I mean, there's stuff that's really crazy with Tesla. But the PE ratio, I think, if you're measuring a stock, whether it's too forward, I don't know what the right word is, too forward-looking, right? Because so many people have believed in Tesla for so long and just bought into Tesla forever. You know, at a 43 ratio, you look at what even Apple is. I think Apple's like 9 or something. No, Apple's 22. Actually, no, I thought it was lower. But still, Tesla would be double the PE ratio of Apple right now, right? And then let's look at Microsoft. I'm curious to see what Coinbase is. Microsoft's a little higher, 26. And then what is like Coinbase? Coinbase is negative 6 at this point. Okay. How about Ford? Look at a traditional car company. Ford is 5. Okay. So Tesla's still, even with its current price and after falling 60-something%, its P ratio is still at least double like Apple and almost double Microsoft and like 8 times more than Ford's, right? So technically speaking, Tesla can fall to $70 and its market cap being like $222 billion, it could fall half from here to equal what equal where some of the other tech companies are in terms of their price versus earnings, right? I don't know if I explained that well, but I mean, I don't think it's going to fall 50% from here, but if it did, it wouldn't be out of whack compared to the other big tech companies. Let's just put it that way. And what is Amazon? Yeah, Amazon's P ratio is just crazy. That's why they're falling like mad, because they're at a 79. That's just way too much. Too many people put too much emphasis or too much money into Amazon, thinking that they were going to be like the next Microsoft or Google or Apple. They're not. I never understood that. I know from like a business perspective, from a retail perspective, from like a delivery perspective, they will continue to dominate. At least in the US, no one is close. But their cloud division, it's going to lose to Microsoft's Azure over time. Slowly, it's eroding because that is Microsoft's bread and butter, is cloud. So I don't see how they're going to compete with them long term. Anyways, got off track there. A little bit off track. Which wallets support Flow? That's a good question. I actually don't know. I think Coinbase Wallet does. I think last time I heard some Coinbase Wallet maybe adding them. I don't know which ones actually support Flow. Slugger, I don't have anything good to say about DOT. I actually don't know what's going on with DOT. I don't hear anything about them. Than H Book. Thank you. I think I will. I think I will. We got some more people on Twitch now. How is there a way to stop a sweeper on my MetaMask wallet? I need this wallet for a future airdrop. I'm not even sure. I don't know. Just create a new wallet. Just create a new wallet. Thoughts on Epic Games' first blockchain game from Gala? Yeah, I remember reading about that, but I don't know when it's actually out, or is it out already? But I know that Gala did make a partnership with Epic, and Epic, oh man. This one, Grit. Yeah, it's reverse. It's reverse. So there is a game called Grit from Gala that's within Epic Game Store. I don't know if anyone plays it, but you know, this is my point. In the future, you're not even going to know if you're playing a decentralized game or using a decentralized app. It's just going to be part of everyone's daily routine. Right? Like, even if you go in the iOS store or Android Auto, not Android Auto, the Google Play Store, you know, the dApps you download, they could be decentralized in nature and people won't even know it. I think that's going to be the future. I guess it's already starting. There's a lot of games like that already. And even streaming service like Audius is like that too. People have no idea Audius is a blockchain project. Is there a safe place to store tokens and cash you're holding to eventually buy crypto? To store tokens? Yeah, there's plenty of wallets that you could download. To hide cash, not digitally. You know, you can hide it in your house under your mattress. I don't know where else you're referring to. I mean, you could buy stable coins and put that in a wallet. You know, that's a way to do it. Has Harmony seen its best days, or do you think they still have a bright future? I don't know. I can't answer that because the future is infinite. So can they have a comeback? Yes. But right now, it seems like they're going to have a hard time getting back to their previous highs because they lost a lot. They lost a lot due to a hack, and they lost their biggest DeFi project. So for them to get back, I think it's going to be very tough. Love from Sweden. Welcome. Will XRP and ADA be the only remaining stablecoins the next? Oh, I see what you did there. Quite cleverly. You got me. What's this crap about Paxful pulling ETH from the platform? I don't know. It just sounds like crap. I'll look into it. I didn't see that this morning, but I'll see. Sideways price action 2023 and 2024 being the start of the next bull run with the halving. Yeah, David, I think the second half of 2023 is when we start seeing things move. But the first half, probably nothing. Probably sideways. Charles has always been a crybaby, to be honest. I remember the time he was crying over Wikipedia not letting him have his own page. He's just full of ego. You know, the thing people don't realize is Charles is still a pretty young guy. You would never know it by looking at his pictures like this, right? But people don't realize Charles is a young guy. And, you know, young guys, you know, full of ego, thinks more than themselves, and could be quite arrogant. I'm not saying just Charles. I'm just saying young guys in general, right? And as we get older, we will recognize we need to cool it and get more mature, right? So Charles, he it still amazes people to this day. He looks like he's in his 50s. But he's in his 30s, not even mid-30s. He's 34 years old. I'm way older than Charles, right? So, I mean, that's the reason. You know, I think I think he's just a young guy. Oh, no. I'm sorry. He turned 35. He was 34. He just turned 35. So, still, pretty young guy. Pretty young guy. The office says, I'm 46 and I look younger. I think a lot of people look younger than Charles. Okay. You know, for whatever reason, he likes this look, right? Big beard, little packed on a little pounds, you know, like we all do when we get older, right? But the way he dresses, his demeanor, the way he talks, you know, I mean, he just comes off as someone that's much older, but he really isn't. Anyways, just throw that out there. My grandpa's 75 and looks younger. Well, then you have an amazing grandpa. He probably has a bad photographer. No, I mean, you just go on his streams. His stream is the same way, you know? Again, it's not just about his physical look. It's about his demeanor. The way he carries himself is like a much older person. He looks like a 60-year-old university professor. You know what? A lot of guys, especially in, I don't know. I feel like a lot of young guys, you know, to try to make themselves older because there's probably this perception if you look too young or you are young, you're just not going to get the respect that you deserve, especially if you're like a teacher or a programmer or a business person, right? So a lot of young guys try to make themselves older, and maybe they get used to it and they just keep carrying that way, right? I don't know if that's the case with Charles, but you see that all the time. You see all these like 20-year-olds trying to like dye their beards white, give themselves gray just so they look older, right? I don't know. I don't know if that's something to do with it or not. My son sold all his ADA. I still got mine. Well, I'll say this about ADA, because I've been in this space for a while. When ADA was still like 1 or 2 cents, I had plenty of time to buy it. A lot of people made fun of Cardano. And it's the same argument now versus before. It can't accomplish anything. It'll never get anywhere. Charles is full of just talk, no action, right? So I could have bought ADA all day long at 1 cent, 2 cents, 3 cents. Didn't. So I kind of missed out on that, right? I feel like it's kind of the same way right now. You know, I think a lot of people are overlooking Cardano, but they will come back. They will come back strong. Laurel, see, I blow a lot of people's minds. When I reveal Charles' age, so many people don't believe it. They're like, there's no way. There's no way. But he's only mid-30s. Too many L1s for ADA to come back strong. Nah, there's a lot of L1s, but very little in the top 10, right? And Cardano is still in the top 10. Despite how weak they have been, they're still in the top 10. That's saying a lot. You don't get into top 10 of CMC by accident. You really don't. So the ones that are here will probably stay here. Maybe they deviate a little bit, but they will stay here. And the reason being, there's just a lot of people that believe in these projects. A lot of people hold these projects and will continue to DCA into these projects. It's really that simple. Where do you see Doge in the next bull cycle? Well, as long as Elon doesn't give up on Doge, I mean, it could go back to its previous high, obviously, which is 10x from here. It was like 70-something cents at its peak. So can it get back there? Yes. And if Elon does something with Twitter, it could go up even more than that and at a much faster rate than its peers, if he announces something big. But we'll see. Chris, I know you sent a super chat, but that's just unacceptable for you to be spreading FUD like that. So I'm going to put you in a timeout. Don't be spreading FUD, man. Don't be doing it. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. A new narrative is AI. New players taking our space. There is the new narrative with like Chat, GBT, and there's a few others. All this AI stuff, right? That's looking like they're going to dominate the world. Could be in the next few years as they evolve. Be very different. Very different. Yeah, Alan, there's still hope for Doge. As long as Elon sticks with Twitter, even if he's not the CEO, right? But, who knows? Maybe the new CEO he finds does not like Doge. And then what's going to happen then? I don't know. I don't know. Well, I'm pretty sure whoever he finds, he's going to make sure he's a Doge fan and a crypto fan. Curatek says Elon is involved in politics recently. I think that may have a negative effect. Yeah, that's for sure. How do you? Did something there. Hellfire. I got rid of him for you. 15 viewers on Twitch now. Do I like Messi? I don't follow soccer at all, so I heard of him. I just know that he dissed Salt Bay, which I find very hilarious because I think Salt Bay like blew up out of nowhere because of his stupid like salt thing, right? And then he tried to get a picture with Messi, and Messi just like pushed him aside, and he kept trying to take a picture with him. I found that to be very hilarious. Anyways, let's call it a stream. So today, Bitcoin is still holding. The stock market, U.S. market, it's green finally. Home sales tumbled more than 7% in November. Okay, yeah, I think that's to be expected. And Charles Hoskinson got really pissed off at this. So, all right, guys. So, thanks for tuning in, and tune in tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and there will be more to discuss. Ooh, 21 viewers on Twitch now. A lot more people coming in. You guys need to come in and support me on Twitch. So, thanks to everyone, and I will see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.